bar of Sunset Boulevard.
Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Wednesday night. It is 5 o'clock here in the mountain time, and I find myself sitting in front of a computer talking because, well, that's what I like to do, sitting in front of computers talking. And how is this for irony? I woke up this morning, I knew I wanted to wear whoa, that was nice and blurry. I knew I wanted to wear a shirt and tie. I knew I wanted to go this way, okay? And so I was going through and I decided, you know what? It's the holiday season. I think I want to go on ahead and wear this wonderful little tie that I was given by a great friend of mine, Arcelia. She gave it to me 2 years ago when my first guest and I got together and we did some work down at a McDonald's on a Christmas Eve where we gave away free food to people. Well, put on the tie, come downstairs, get dressed, do all that other fun stuff, and open up the computer and come to find out it's Arcelia's birthday. So happy birthday. You were on my mind before you were on my mind. Imagine that. So, hey, you saw a brand new video that I just got finished with. As I was telling my buddy Steve, I was white knuckling it on a computer if that's at all possible. But you're going to see that first video was from VIV, which is Vive. What you do is you pay your bills, okay? Pay the bills that you have to pay, cell bills. There's internet bills. There's all kinds of bills, home security, many things. And these aren't from, the small companies. These are from some of the big boys in the bill world, national bills. I don't have any partnerships with any. Well, you know what? I used to have a partnership with this one, so I'll name them. T-Mobile is one of them that we have a partnership with. You pay your phone bill, and what they do is they go in and they try to negotiate your service. They say, "Hey, we're working with this guy. He's paying an outrageous amount of money for this family plan. We know that deep down somewhere you guys can do better." And so what T-Mobile does is they go, okay, we know we can do better. And so they do better and they save you a little bit of money. Now, the great thing about this is that you save money. Your bill goes down, stays down, not just for one pay period, not anything like that. You go down. Okay, your bill goes down. And all you had to do was go through the link that I just put in the chat, and this link right here. That's all you have to do is go there. With the money that you're saved, Viv takes and donates a portion of that back to Community Dare to Care, Community Pay It Forward. So we're able to continue to do the outreach that we love to do. This is a very great thing. I love this program because you know what? You save money. We get a little bit of portion to help us continue giving away stuff that people need. And you please remember, our outreach is always free, okay? And it's available to anybody. If they say they need help, we try to help them. We can't do this without the help of everyone out there. We have had a wonderful person, and I did not ask for permission to give her name, but she has donated. I know that she's in the process of moving, and she has donated 6 boxes, tons of clothing, sheets, dishes, and some wonderful stuff that it's not garbage, folks. This isn't like going to a lot of those garage sales where you go to the garage sale and look, oh wow, look, here's a pair of butterfly collar short sleeve shirts from, well, my dad's closet. No, this is actually some really nice stuff. So please, if you needs some help, just reach out to us and give us a call. We'll see what we can do. We'll even take and put a call out there to the people in the community and find out if we can help. Please remember, at Community Pay It Forward, 80% of any purchase made through one of our wonderful partners is going to go to a mission of your choice. What are these missions? These are people who have asked us for help. They say, hey, look, this happened to us, or nonprofits from around the world. I was like going, well, wait, slow down on the world. No, but we do have schools in Africa. So yes, around the world. And so all you have to do is simply shop with our wonderful, wonderful family partners. You're going to meet two of them tonight. And all you have to do is shop with them, hire them. They do the work. They bill you at the end. One of or both of these guys, let's put it this way, both of these guys could be really, really good for you, because it's not you who actually pays the bill a lot of times. It's your insurance company who pays the bill. Just saying, you get to support people by sticking it to the insurance man. Okay, so you're not going to stick it to them. It's not like they're going to go broke or anything, but it is what it is. But still, you get to support some wonderful people out there who need a lot of help simply by getting stuff done. If you own a home, you're going to want to make sure that your home is well taken care of. Both of these individuals, Mr. Steve Solis, who's my first guest tonight, and Mr. Mike Martinez. Steve works with roofing, and Mike Martinez works with mold. And I don't know if you know anything about mold, but it's not a lot of fun to mess around with. So it can really cause a lot of problems. And, when you're sitting there sleeping at night and all of a sudden your face gets all wet from a drip of snow, that's not a lot of fun either. So you can always reach me by going to my For My card. For My card is very, very simple. It is a business card on your phone. You share it with the QR code, or you just give people the link. You text them this link right here. And when you text them this link, they go to it, and it's a customizable business card that does so much more than a business card. I don't know how many times I've tried in the last week to pick up one of my old business cards, these things, and I hit the website. It doesn't go to the website. Okay. You go to my For My card, you hit the website. It goes directly to communitypayitforward.us. It goes straight to my email address. Matter of fact, it has a place on there that says call Zach, text Zach, and it comes straight to me. You're also able to find out more information about things like Community Mission to Rescue 22. February 22nd is coming up. It's coming up real close. I know that because it's like right after Christmas, and a week ago, Christmas was a little ways off. It's not a little ways off anymore. It's right here. So that means Community Mission to Rescue 22 is also coming up. This is very, very important to us, because this right here, this job form is how you can get involved. You can be one of these wonderful partners of ours, and you can be right here with us and stand with us and tell our veterans, tell our heroes all over the United States that we care and we don't want to lose you. We are losing 47 heroes on average every day. JR from the Veterans Ranch in Florida put out a post the other day telling us how we had lost 44 in one 24-hour period. This is just, the numbers aren't going the right way. They're just not. There's no easier way to say it. The numbers are going the wrong way, and we need to make sure that we really work on this. Folks, right now, if things don't change, by the time I'm sitting here this time next year, we will have lost over 17,000 individuals who raised their right hand and gave that oath to our country. Over 17,000 heroes will have taken their own lives. That doesn't need to be. You can help us open the conversation, start this conversation. We can put together a list of people who are out there who can really make a change in people's lives. So please join us, no matter if it's a story, if you want to make your business on that day, if you want to join our wonderful partners like Steve, like Mike, you can join us for that one day and find out what Community Pay It Forward's all about. Make that one day, make your sales on that day go to great causes like right here in Northern Colorado, somebody else you're going to see tonight, Healing Warriors, or Veterans Honoring Veterans, or the Veterans Ranch in Florida, or Project Die Hard in Kentucky. I always want to say Tennessee, but it's not Tennessee, it's Kentucky. Or we've got your six in Dallas. Look, they're all over the country. We're here to support them because they're there to support the ones who supported us. Very rare do I get a chance to talk to somebody who is as close to me as Steve is. This guy is one of my great friends. We got to meet pre-pandemic. There was a life pre-pandemic. I know it's kind of hard to remember. It's been a while, but Steve's been a great friend of mine. Hell, the guy showed up at my wedding. So, and he only had like an hour and a half notice, something like that, because I'm so prepared on everything. We know this. So, but, I gave him all the time in the world to get here and said, where are you when you were late? I didn't, but the thing is that he's a great guy. He's a great friend. He's done a lot for this company. He's done a lot for people out there. And I think the greatest thing I can say about Steve is he doesn't stop trying. Okay. If he's not going to, he's not going to climb up on your roof, take a look and say, well, you know what? I can get this job if I just kick this one shingle off. It's not like that with him. Steve has integrity. Steve stands behind his work and he stands behind his crews. And he is one hell of a balloon artist. Okay. I mean, this guy, he can do some things with balloons that, sculptors can't do with stone. So, he is very, very talented and a great friend of mine. And I am very, very happy to welcome in Mr. Steve Solis. How you doing, brother?
Great. I'm doing good. Thank you for that. That's quite humbling.
Yeah. Every word meant. Every word meant. You've been a dear friend for. I cannot believe that we have to go through that. We had the whole AD, BC things, and now we're post pandemic, pre-pandemic. So now we've got a new way of telling times. So, but you and I have done quite a bit of stuff together. Steve, how long have you been roofing?
Oh man. More than 40 years. I actually originally was taught by my father back in the late 60s, and we mostly did framing for years. And then I came back to it full time in 1983 and been with it ever since.
One of the reasons why I really wanted to reach out to you is because we have had hellacious winds and the threat of snow here in the Greeley area. We haven't got hit other than a small dusting yesterday, but we haven't got hit with that. Geez, I think my dog just dropped a dinosaur or something. But dropped part of the house or something. I don't know what happened there. But anyway, there's we know right now in the United States there's just some terrible storms going through, and I thought this was a perfect time to talk to you. Heavy high winds are very, very damaging to roofs, are they not?
Yeah, well, there's several things to be considered with it. Actually, it hasn't been an incredible amount of years before the International Residential Code required a certain wind rating for products that were out there. And what was considered standard back at that time was no longer allowed because the manufacturers, they had testing and they had information from underwriters' laboratories that their product would do a certain amount, but it wasn't even listed on the packages yet. So the building departments in order to make sure that people were getting products that were going to be based upon the USGS standard for wind ratings, and these products had to pass that. At first, it was just a standard amount of wind, let's say 80 miles an hour, that might have been appropriate, but then they started wanting to meet a 3-second gust, they called it. So you could have 100 miles an hour, 3-second gust, and that allowed standard 3-tab shingles to be installed. And then it changed to sustained wind, and so you have a higher rating even now, anywhere from 100, 120, 130 miles an hour, which these products, once they are sealed, should be able to handle that situation. Well, so what wind damage is, it's not so much that the wind is taking the corner of a house where the shingles are and rolls it off. It's passing over the roof like the wing of an airplane and is trying to lift it off. So if the fastening of the shingles wasn't done real well, in other words, the nails were a little cockeyed, that it tears into the shingle. And so after so much time of trying to lift it off of there with these high winds, that after several years, maybe 5 years, the shingles start pulling up and over off of the roof, and it takes a number of shingles with it. And that usually happens more prominently on the upper third of a roof. So it kind of depends. So product type, wind rating type, installation practices, all have to be done appropriately. So it is important who puts on your roof. It is important to know that the people that are your salesperson, the production manager in our company happens to be the owner of the company, whoever oversees the work, and the roofers themselves. How long have they been doing this? And it's really not a length of time per se, because I've had people that you see my cat, look at him.
Yeah.
This one guy claimed to have had a license in the city of Denver, which back in that time was the standard for the metro area. He claimed he had a license in Denver for 16 years, but I'm telling you what, I wouldn't have this guy put the shingles on my doghouse. I mean, it was really bad. So wind is an issue, but if things are done right at the beginning, got a quality material, quality installation, it can still happen, but it's got to be pretty high winds, once the shingles seal. Now, one of the great things amongst many things that we have in Colorado is that we have a mild climate. So even though we'll have very cold days and very high heat in the summertime, cat investigating the other cat. But for the most part, compared to other parts of the country and the world, we don't really have it that bad. So you have to choose the right day. Manufacturer says we need to have 45 degrees of rising temperatures in order to put on these products. And in Colorado, 45 is actually the ambient average for the month of January. So you can do this all year round, but you do have to wait till the conditions are more conducive to the shingle sealing as quickly as possible. But we don't hesitate if we have those kind of temperatures, because we're very rare in our industry in the state of Colorado to have a 10-year labor warranty that's in-house. It's our warranty, not something you buy from the manufacturer in order to get a longer term as far as that's concerned. But wind is an issue, obviously, but also time of year. When you have products that, because of these winds, and they don't even have to be high winds, a lot of new construction is done on the outlying areas around the town, and I'm saying outlying cities like Aurora, up in Adams County, Douglas County, all that sort of thing. that the product is installed when we're getting these constant winds, and really fine dust gets blown up between the layers, and the shingles never do completely seal down. So it does make a difference does make a difference how well that everybody is aware of these things, and does the contractor actually back their work? So if you did have a shingle or two that came off, are they going to come back and install that, or replace that shingle, uh, and everything be back to normal again? So lot to that.
Well, when we have a situation like what we've got right now, where there's like ice particles in the air that are blowing up underneath those shingles, is that something that maybe as soon as it starts to die down a little bit, as soon as it starts to warm up, is this maybe something that people should really start looking at? Because maybe that water's been getting underneath those. Say you haven't had your roof, or you've had your roof for a little while. Is this when people should really start kind of worrying about it?
I wouldn't say worried about it. You just have to be aware. It's probably more accurate to say. Uh, Basically, the ice particles, usually from the edge of the roof, let's say 3 feet back, 5 feet back, and going up to the ridge, generally that's not a problem there. It can happen, but it's not as big a deal. Where the sealant is on the shingles when it overlaps these days is much better than what it used to be back when I started roofing, and that was a long time ago. But it's really the edge of the roof for the first couple of feet. Let's say your soffit area is 2 feet. In areas that require what they call an ice and water shield membrane, it goes from zero, basically at the gutter, up the roof, 2 feet inside of the inner wall. So say, for instance, your front door, you go another, let's say 6 inches for the framing, et cetera, and then another 2 feet, that ice and water shield has to be installed. And the idea there is if you have some moisture and it comes down to the edge of the roof, because of the soffit area, wind that comes up to that area, it basically freezes right there, and the snow and ice stay there for a lot longer than you would like it to, and it's possible for that moisture to back up underneath the shingles, hence coming inside the house. So it is a concern, but based upon the USGS as to what areas fit into the freeze area that we were just talking about, it all depends on, and it's already set in the code. Every building department along the Front Range has it set in their code, whether they require that or not. And you just need to know. But any qualified contractor, presuming they're qualified because they get a permit for the work that they do. And so they based upon freeze thaw calculations, whether it's required, how it's installed, and I was on the education committee for the Colorado Roofing Association back in the early 2000s, and that was one of the discussions, is that, first of all, are you in that climate that requires this product, and what is your interpretation of what is recommended by the manufacturer, so that anybody can have this information and install a roof appropriately. But ice crystals themselves generally are not the problem. It's the major thing. I've seen where you get blue ice on the edge of the roof, and it's 8 inches thick, from the gutter up vertically, and it's blue ice. It's really weird, but it happens. But I wouldn't call. I guess there was a couple of years we had some really serious ice damming, and it happens on and off. But overall, you have conditions. So in other words, it doesn't get above 10 degrees for, let's say, 2 weeks or something like that.
How often should you have somebody climb up on top of your roof and take a look?
Well, it's kind of like, it's a bit of a guesswork. If you have a competent contractor. In other words, you had somebody that you hired at the beginning of the roof replacement, and they were well qualified, did a great job, passed inspection. It's likely that you don't need to have them back out. What's the length of their warranty? What if it's only 5 years? I probably would tend to say sometime before that 5 years is up, maybe at 4 years, maybe at 3 years, to get up there and just double check it. The warranty only covers, it's a limited warranty, so there are some parameters on how this should be done, and you're not allowed really to make any changes. Say, for instance, you want to put a swamp cooler on your roof, and you neglect to tell your contractor that put on that roof, and somebody else came in, cut a hole, put the swamp cooler up there, and then it leaks. Whose fault is it? It doesn't fall underneath our warranty anymore because somebody altered the roof that we put on. So the homeowner has to go back to the swamp cooler installer. And that has happened to us. People said, hey, your roof is leaking. Well, no, it wasn't our fault. What occurred, it was you had somebody else come in and they altered the thing. But I would say, let's say you have that same good group come in. They did a good job. Everything went well. You have them come in, let's say at 4 years, take a look. Does everything look okay to you? Is there anything we should be concerned about? Because we only have 1 more year left on your warranty, and I need to make sure that we move forward well. The second thing involved with that is if something happens in your life that things change and you're now going to sell that place, you're going to, or use it as an investment property, you want to make sure that what's there is in good shape. So, depending on how well the job is done or not, might mean that you need to have it checked out quicker or sooner. Say, for instance, that after the first rainstorm, it did leak on the swamp cooler, and it was already there, the swamp cooler. And because there was a problem, you probably want to call them back in a little bit sooner, maybe after a couple of years, and have them double check everything to make sure it's in good shape. And then as time goes along, you could probably lengthen that time, to 3, 5, 8 years, whatever, before you have it looked at again. But definitely before you're planning on actually letting go or renting that particular property, because people are notorious for not taking care of their investment property, oddly enough.
Out of sight, out of mind. That's something that you see it when you're driving up, but you don't really think about it, and it's it's kind of like we all complain about having insurance,
yeah,
until we need to have insurance. Let's go on ahead and real quickly move on to your other passion, which is your balloon art. You are one of the most talented people when it comes to twisting a balloon that looks like a deflated hot dog and turning it into some wonderful, wonderful art. And
one of our
you
ladies from our referral group called me the most unique person in the group, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not. But anyway, I think she meant it positively.
Yeah, it might have been after I was gone then. So, you can see a lot of his work right on his personal Facebook page. So if you want to look him up, you can see some of him. He practices all the time. He shows you examples of what he's working on. You're almost like, and I truly do mean this as a compliment. You're almost like an athlete. You put more time into this craft, because you do take this serious. You want to go out, you want to have a good time, you want to put out some quality product, and you want people to have fun doing it. You don't want just the kids to walk away going, wow, look. You want mom and dad to do that too. And right. I've seen it. Right. Mom and dad have usually come back and said, hey, what can you make me?
Well, that is a fact. I did a birthday party for the 50 and over crowd, so everybody turns into a kid. So there's no doubt about that. And roofing, because I've been in it so long, I really don't study much on that. I mean, I try to be up to date on products and materials and installation and all that. But every night I practice several things, but one of them is balloon art, and I do that 1 to 3 hours every day. I've been doing it for 19 plus years now, and I'm working on stuff all the time. Now, every once in a while, I will post something that wasn't my original. I I have friends all over the world that are masters at this. I mean, they make my stuff look like it's simple. I mean, just amazing things. And so I think I understand enough about the methods and techniques that people use. And if there's something that's there that I haven't tried, I'll go ahead and do that just to have it part of my repertoire. I don't even know how many things I do. I'm guessing over 200 variations, um, but I don't use them all when, let's say, I'm at a restaurant because I don't have time to do things that are longer than 2 or 3 minutes. So uh, you've seen my unicorn hat, and that takes 8 minutes, 7 balloons, and 2 LED lights I put into the eyeballs, and it's very popular. You know, I should have meant put
Which
one
is
together
just,
for you.
I mean, it's just honestly one of the cutest damn things you'll ever see. Seeing these little kids running around with these little lights that are bobbling on the side of their head, you know, and it's a real quick, please tell us, and I love this story. Please tell us the story about when you went down and the little old ladies down in when you went on a mission.
Oh man. Well, I knew a lady here in Denver. She's still doing this. She's about my age, and so she's been twisting balloons for I don't know, 50 years, something like that. Anyway, she's super good and one of the most wonderful people I've ever met. And we had a booth at the roofing company at the Garden and Home Show, and I was walking through, and she was hired by a window installer to twist balloons and draw a crowd. And I was really amazed at not only what she did, but how many people, how many young kids were in line to get a balloon, and of course the parents were there to look at the products. And she had like 20 kids waiting in line. It was phenomenal. So I said to her after watching for a while, I said, I've got to learn how to do this. And she says, well, I give lessons, but it's got to be in groups of 15 or 20. Well, where was I going to find 15 or 20 people that wanted to do this? And so I kept the idea in my back pocket. And then I went ahead and my church was going to send a group to Uruguay to replace the roof. Look at there. And uh, they wanted somebody to do origami because we were going to make hats for the kids and balloon animals. And I said, hey, I've got a friend that will give us lessons if you don't mind. But they didn't want to take the time or pay the money. So she sent me down. I called her up, told her my dilemma. I have 2 weeks. What am I going to do? So went down to the place where she gets her supplies, picked up a book, a video, bag of balloons, and a pump, and just started practicing. In 2 weeks, I learned to do 17 characters, so I knew I was on my way. But I was down there, and we were working our tails off every day. We were replacing a portion of a roof. Here's my famous one of my dragons. I make several, and I'd be sitting there with these different churches, and there might be 10 kids, there might be 50 kids. There was no way to know. And so the other people that were supposed to be helping me do this, I didn't tell them that I was taking these lessons and that I had increased our repertoire from 2 to 17. And so they were so embarrassed, they quit making them themselves, and I was doing all the balloons. But here I am twisting the balloons for the children, and there was a group of senior women. There were no senior men. And they're sitting there and they're watching me and they're commenting in Spanish. And I'm not fluent, but I know enough to be dangerous, right? So um, I'm
I know
sitting
enough
there
to
and
know
I'm
that I'm
doing.
getting yelled at.
So then this lady, these ladies were sitting there watching me. And so they were commenting. And after I'd be done with the children, I'd go sit in the middle of these ladies and I'd say in Spanish, "What do you want?" And they would say, "Oh, no, no, no." And I said, I insisted, "I'm going to make you something. What would you like?" And I only knew basic stuff: rabbit, dog, cat, swan, things of that nature. And I was handing it to them, and they would go like this. You could tell that they saw it as I see it, which is a work of art, and it was precious. And so they were so thankful that that's what convinced me I have to do this. So, but for the first 10 years, I was very basic because most balloon twisters only do the basic stuff. But I didn't want that. I wanted to continue a work of art. So when I'm done, the kids are nodding their head, yes, and the parents are going, wow. That's when I know that I've achieved what I was after for. And it's gone pretty well. I post these things all the time, as you know, and people comment on them, and so it's part of my repertoire from that point on. So, like I say, I don't even know how many I do, but I just have a ton of fun. If I'm where it's mostly adults, the women love the flowers and the teddy bears and polar bears, right? And yeah, and that sort of thing. But once the men see that I can do it, and they said, "Hey, I heard you can make a monkey on a tree. I got to see that." So I do it.
Ye- Yep, yep. Or a dunce cap. I love that story. So uh
Jester hat, buddy.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, Jester hat. That's right. So, that was such a good time. That was for Day of the Deployed 3 years ago, I believe.
Wow.
And yeah, yeah, isn't that weird, right? And yeah, we went in and there was a guy who came up to us. The gentleman had partaken in a soda or two and an adult soda or two. So came up to Steve and he wanted something. He just didn't know what he wanted. Steve goes, "I got the perfect thing for you." Made him a jester's
That's
hat.
right. I forgot
He
about
wore
that.
that thing back up to the bar, and I'm going to tell you something. He was the belle of the ball. I mean, he really was. So it was so fantastic. So,
Yeah,
but
it
so
really has given me an avenue. You may not think so, but I actually was extremely shy growing up, and but I knew I was going to be doing something like this. I just didn't know what. And I have a bit of an art and craft background, but it happens to be right in my wheelhouse because I love to engage people now. And it's a whole lot easier engaging people when it's talking about balloons than it is about roofing because it's
yeah.
things,
Oh
it might
yeah,
be
yeah. I'd
necessary. They
imagine.
might have had hail damage, but we really don't want to deal with this. So making it easy and easy to make decisions for with people concerning getting their roof back up to par, is obviously a good thing, and I see it that way. And when I was roofing, I saw it as a work of art, but I have to hand it off to other people now because I'm way too stinking old to do that stuff anymore. Don't even want to. But but when it comes to balloons, as long as my hands, and I do have carpal tunnel, and I wear braces and compression gloves, to protect myself. But as long as everything holds together, I'll do this until they put me in the box, buddy.
Well, I'm going to tell you something right now. You and I were talking before the show, and I told you I would much rather have your getting older butt up on my roof than my very, very large, bulbous ass up there because I did not feel very safe. So, and you've been up on our roof and you know that it's in good shape, but I'll guarantee you it's not in good enough shape to be under me. Okay. Our concrete floors sit there and go, "Oh no, not him again." So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Steve, what is one thing that if somebody is noticing, say somebody's noticing uh, this one thing right now, they should give you a call because you need to get out there and make sure that there's not a problem.
Well, the thing is when is the last time you've had your roof inspected? If it has been longer than a few years, it would be a good idea. There's no cost, but statistically speaking, 1 out of 5 houses has some sort of issue. So I take pictures, yeah, because a lot of homeowners like yourself, they're not going to get up on that 2-story, especially, or if it's a steep roof. That's what I do. I get up there and I look at things, and I look at things with a critical eye, because I don't want them to have a problem. Because if I look at it, I own that roof from that point on. Because if I say everything looks great, and then in the next spring we're getting all kinds of leaking, that doesn't look too well on me. So I try to give it a real critical eye. I make recommendations. I'll make notes of when I was out there. If it's time to consider a new roof, let's say it's been more than 14 years or so, it's a good idea to have things checked out. Things can be brought up to date, maybe some caulking. I use that term loosely. It's actually roofing mastic. Or maybe the flashing detail could have been done a little better. It's not uncommon at all to have just that one little leak, and it's a 10-year leak. Drip here, drip there, every time it snows or rains. And then all of a sudden your ceiling's falling in the upstairs bathroom. So it's a good idea just to have it checked out. When was the last time you've had it checked? Or maybe there was a question mark concerning the original installers. Yeah, they did my roof 5 years ago, but it failed inspection. They did come back and correct it, but that's kind of a red flag. So use your own judgment on that. And since it's free, let's get on every roof just to make sure we're not going to have any issues long term. It should be a 20-year situation. Should ever have to go back, sooner than that, unless it's a hail.
And people really should watch out for the fly-by-night, the circus tent roofers. They're not from the area. They're not. Look, altitude's a thing. Everything that we live with every day, it's stuff that they're generally not used to. So how can you make sure? How can they guarantee that something's going to hold up if they don't know what to expect?
Right. Well, thing is as I said, just because they've been roofing a long time, even in the Colorado, doesn't necessarily guarantee anything. So getting references, maybe, I used to provide with every one of my potential customers a folder with all the information, some brochures, and in there I have the contact information for, let's say, 30 homeowners, not necessarily in your area, but let's say 30 of the last roofs we did. You're welcome to call them, ask whatever questions you want. We don't give them any parameters. I said, homeowners are going to ask you lots of detailed questions. How long did the job take? Were you satisfied with the work? Have you had any problems with the roof? Did they get a permit for, lots of stuff that they can ask and find out what the situation is. And, but it's rare, really rare for anybody to use that list, to call anybody on that list to ask these questions. And you would think when we're talking about an average of $10,000 that people would take more care about that. But they rely on the statement of their brother-in-law or something like that. Well, these guys did our roof and they did a great job, so you won't have any problem with them. Well, that's not a good thing. Check with the Better Business Bureau. Check with their supplier. Do they pay their bills? Do they always get a permit for the work that they do? Call the building department. Are you familiar with these guys? Do they do good work? Lots of things you can do to find out and really dig into whether these people are good or not, whether they're local or not. Just because they're local doesn't guarantee that they're that good. Like I said, this guy claimed he had a Denver license for 16 years, but again, really, really bad. So it does make a difference. My advantage is personally is that I roofed for many years, and so I've held the product, touched the product, sold the product, managed the product, all of that stuff. So am I an expert? I'm a professional for sure. Because of what I've done over the years. I've written articles for magazines here locally. I've been on TV 3 times to talk about ice damming and other situations on a roof. So I don't know everything, but I think I know enough to be able to help anybody with their roofing issues and concerns. Sometimes it's just a phone call and then we can talk about it, because if it looks wrong, it probably is wrong, you know. So a homeowner doesn't have to be an expert, but he said, you know, I never did that before, you know, so let's take a look at it and be sure so you're comforted when you go to bed at night. You don't have to worry about any of these things.
I ended up calling you once. I ended up calling you at one point in time because somebody was walking through my parents' neighborhood. They looked up on my parents' roof and they knocked on the door and said that they saw a problem. They got up on the roof and they said that there was a problem. I called you because I know you, I trust you, obviously. You crawled up there and you were like, no, no, no. You said that there was a place that it could have been done better, but there was absolutely nothing that needed immediate attention.
Right.
That to me is something that, that first off, you know, you're the guy, you're one of, you're the one I'm going to call because of this right here. You're part of the program. So you're willing to not only put things, your reputation online, you're willing to put your efforts behind helping people at the same time, but you're true about it. You're
Yeah.
not going to lie about it. We all need money, but
Yeah.
you're not going to create a
A
necessity.
situation. Yeah. Let me say, because I do a lot of inspections for realtors. How I look at it is, if my mother were buying or selling this property, what would I say? Because I need to be totally honest, because I'm held to a higher standard, having been a formerly on the education committee. But it amazes me. Now, again, I've been roofing for a long time and inspecting thousands of houses, and most of the time from the ground, hail large enough to do damage is only 1 inch in diameter. We often get 2 inch or more, but it only needs 1 inch, depending on the speed and the angle that is coming to the roof. So, that being the case, it doesn't necessarily make really big divots into the roof, but enough to cause damage, because what hail damage is, it actually breaks the fabric of the shingle. So, let's say we were talking about this here, and the upper part is where you see the granules, but on the underside is the fabric of the shingle itself. If you lift that up where a hail mark has been, there's supposed to be a fracture there for it to be counted in their numbers that they count in a 10 by 10-foot area. So, but no, almost nobody actually does that until they're trying to prove that it doesn't have enough damage up there to replace the roof. So, so if that's the case, and you have 1 inch hail in that area from the ground, I can't tell. And I've been doing this for years. You have to actually
Yeah.
get up on the roof to make sure what you have, whether there's enough damage or not. So if you get, let's say, 3 marks in a 10 by 10 area, that does not constitute a roof replacement, and it only constitutes repairs. So whether it can be repaired is another question, but as far as actual damage, so standing on the ground, unless you see missing shingles, most of the time you can't tell if it's hail damage or not. But a thorough inspection after getting up there. So what I do is that I take a picture of the front of the house before I even get up there. I take a picture once I get up to the edge to see how many layers. I stand on top to take pictures vertically, and all of the projections, the vents, pipes, dormers, the flashing details. And then I show the homeowner, because they can see on my camera the first picture I took, because I've only been on their house. There's nothing else in that profile except their pictures. So I can prove to them, without them ever actually getting up on the roof, what is the condition of their roof. So that way they know that I'm being totally straightforward and honest and make an informed decision.
Well, my brother, time, I cannot believe that we've already spent 50 minutes together. It's amazing. We just don't get to talk near enough. That's for sure. So, but hopefully, we're going to be talking to each other again here in the next couple days or so. But I want to thank you so much for joining us. And please, you can reach out to Steve at 970-646-8108. 970-646-8108. You have questions, you have concerns, you want a balloon, a balloon artist for your party.
Special balloons, buddy. Yeah, special.
Special balloons. That's right.
There you go.
This is the guy to talk to. And every time, remember, every time you hire this gentleman, he gives us a referral. And 80% of that referral goes to somebody in the community who could really use your help. So, Steve, thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you.
Always love talking. Just never get to do it enough. So
yeah, well, you and I both know 50 minutes is nothing.
well, that's right. So
right.
You know, we've eaten pizza together for longer than 50 minutes.
That's it. All right, brother. You have a good evening.
You
Say
too.
hello
Thank
to
you,
my
sir.
friend Mike Martinez. He's a great guy.
Yeah, I will do that.
All right.
All right. Talk to you later. Steve Solis of Independent Roofing. I will tell you, I mean, really, Independence Roofing, I always get that wrong, but I will tell you, look, the guy's got integrity for miles and miles. You need somebody to talk about him that's not me, just, call me up and I'll have my parents talk to you about him. They've almost got scammed a couple times, and Steve was there to make sure that they were taken care of. He's a great guy. He's not going to lead you wrong. And that's very, very important. And especially in, the garbage that we go through today with stuff like this. So, let's make sure that, if you need to talk to somebody, get a hold of Steve. He can work with you. He can help you out. So Steve, is not the only person that we're going to be that I've got on tonight from the program. I recorded this interview with Mike Martinez a couple weeks ago. We're going to be, or I'm sorry, a couple days ago, a couple weeks ago. I'm going to be playing that real soon. This interview is going to be brought to you today by a great friend of mine that I'd finally got off my butt and did what I should have done a long time ago. Mr. Z of Z World Webs. How's it going, everyone? Zach Clayton here with a longtime partner, yeah, a family partner, and I say this with the caveat of Mike. It's been a day or two since we've talked, but I'm here with Mike Martinez of Best Option Restoration of Thornton, and you just told me that you also acquired Boulder. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um, Before we continue with a lot of the questions, why don't you just explain what best option restoration is?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Best Option Restoration, we are a property cleanup restoration company. We specialize on water damage, fire damage, mold damage, storm damage. Honestly, any kind of messes within the property, we clean up. So, we are an emergency based company. We are open 24/7. So, if someone calls us at 2 in the morning or at 2 in the afternoon, we will be there to help them out if needed.
That's great. Your area of service, your name says Thornton and Boulder, but you go as far north as Fort Collins and in my area here in Greeley.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are a franchise. So we do have different teams around the whole Denver metro area. We have a team that's located in Lakewood. We have a team in DTC. We have a team in Highlands Ranch. We also have a team in Parker. We got a team in Thornton and one in Boulder. So we got different teams located in the whole Denver metro area, so we can respond to people's emergencies in a timely manner. And we are growing. So right now, we're actually in the talks of someone taking over Colorado Springs, and hopefully in the near future we have someone taking over the Fort Collins area. So we're super excited, and hopefully we can make that happen.
Well, growth is always good, and especially when it comes to a small to medium business owner. So that's great. Mike, you are from the LA area, correct?
Yeah, I was born in California. I was born in Los Angeles, in North Hollywood, and I was out there for a whooping 2 years. And my parents moved out of Colorado when I was 2 years old because my dad was in the construction industry. There was a lot of construction in the 90s here in Colorado. So one of his friends told him to come out, moved out here, and pretty much been here since then. I did move out. I went to college in Washington State. And so I moved out for 4 years, but moved back home, and I call this my house, call this home.
Yeah. Washington State, boy, you had a lot of you have a lot of experience with moist weather then, yeah?
Yeah, it rains a lot out in the Pacific Northwest. I went to school in a small town called Walla Walla. Went to Walla Walla, Washington, Walla Walla University, and yeah, it rains a lot.
I've got family that lives in Port Orchard. So I've got I'm not personally very familiar with Washington, but I haven't been there a lot. But yeah, we've got some family out there. I know that I ended up spending when I was an over the road truck driver, I ended up spending 5 days in Portland.
Okay.
And I was like, I was excited to get to go out to that side of the country because I hadn't been there since I was a child, and I was only there for a couple hours really. And I was like going, there's no way it can be as bad as everybody says it is, and all this other. It rained all 5 days, all 5 days, and I was just by the end of that fifth day, I was so excited that the truck was up and running again. I just could not wait to get out of there. It was like mind numbing, and it's kind of funny that you really, the one thing about that we are blessed with is Colorado's kind of one of those places that where, yeah, we get rain every once in a while. We don't get 5 days worth of rain. We don't get 5 days worth of sun. In those 5 days, we probably have rain, snow, sun, and everything from a blizzard to a 80-degree day. So, we get very lucky there. What are some of the things that you personally enjoy about being here home in Colorado?
There's a number of things that I like about Colorado. I mean, one of the first things that you mentioned is the weather. I like the sun, and we get an average of 300 days of sun, and that's the one thing that I really enjoy about Colorado. But you know, there's a lot of people move to Colorado because of what we have. We have the outdoors. You got skis. We're going into the winter months soon, so people going up to skiing, going snowboarding. I am not a huge fan of that myself, but I do enjoy going once in a while. I do enjoy going out hiking as well, and but the thing that I enjoy the most is the sports that I'm able to play out here. I can play soccer outside, football, golf. I went golfing a couple of weeks ago in December, which is always great. And last year we were golfing in some of the winter months because of the sun that we get out here. And it may not be as warm, but even if it's 50 degrees outside, we can still go out and hit some balls around. So it's always fun.
I tell everybody, and I tell bikers when I meet them from other parts of the country that there's a misnomer. People think that it's always snowing here in Colorado, and there's all that stuff, and you're right. Up in the snow areas, you know what? There's snow on the ground, from September to June. But if you're within a city, Denver, your area, or Greeley, my area, I'm able to ride a motorcycle 340 out of the 365 days a year. And I miss more riding days because it's raining real hard than I do when it's because of snow. So yeah, it's living in this area is just it's such a fantastic thing. You are Congratulations, you're getting married to a really good friend of ours. Um, and that's How do you see that as changing changing your company, changing the way that you do business?
Me getting engaged?
Yeah.
Honestly, it hasn't changed much. One of the things that I have changed me personally is I am more focused. I feel like I've been more focused since I started dating my fiance. Started dating her 2 years ago, and she's an entrepreneur herself as well, which is phenomenal. The fact that she understands when I'm busy and I understand when she's busy, and she's got events going on all the time. I have events going on all the time. We had an event last night. She's able to come to my events. I'm able to go to her events, and we support each other very well, which I really enjoy that aspect of it. Another thing that I really have, like I said, I've been focused more because as you got married recently too, so congratulations to you as well. And you've been married in the past as well. Is when you commit yourself to someone, you have to be there and support them in any way that you can. It's very similar to owning a business. One of the things that I've been telling her is that I kind of been running my life as a business recently, in a sense where, we have to, or I've been very diligent on what I do on a daily basis. And I am very, how should I call this? I'm hard on myself. I critique myself very hard. I'm my hardest trigger, but at the same time, like I'm very disciplined on what I have to do in my personal life, just like I do as my business. And I feel like since I've been doing that the last couple months, it's been great. I haven't gone out as much anymore. I used to go out all the time. I used to have a good time all the time, and I don't do that anymore. I have a better night's sleep now. I have more energy now, and I've been eating healthier. I've been going to the gym. I've been, just being more self-aware of what I have to do, and that has reflected on my business as well. Because my business has, when I am more disciplined with myself, my guys and my people see that in me, and they do the same thing. And I am focused on myself in the mornings. I dedicate myself to, do what I have to do in the mornings, and then travel that to work. I do what I have to do at work, and it's been great.
Scheduling is something that, and I don't want to speak for you, but scheduling is something that I really had to focus more on when it came to trying to schedule even my personal life, because during my brief stint with the single life, you know, there was no schedule. If I was up, I was working. That's it. I was working. You know, put in stints of 24 to 28 hours straight work, or uh, didn't work for a day. You know, whatever, and watch some hockey and slept in. That's one of the things that you really have to learn when you're doing both, is that you got to remember this isn't just you anymore. There's more of a schedule that you have to keep, right?
100%. And scheduling for us, it's key. I I do have a set. I don't have a set schedule for a particular day, per se, but I do have a schedule for the week. So one of the things that my fiance and I do is we look at our schedule for the week, and if we have events going on in the evenings, then we're like, okay, hey, I'm going to be gone this evening. Just plan ahead. But we do try to at least take off about, 2 to 3 hours, if not more, in the evenings, just for us to spend time together. I think that's very important. It's important to take care of yourself and be there for your families because, as you know, business is always going to be there. Business is going to come and business is going to go. You're going to have your ups and downs. That's just part of life. It's part of business. But the person that's going to be there through your ups and downs is going to be your significant other. So spending that time with them, it's very important for us.
Let me ask you this: your business, a lot of your hours are predicated on somebody having an emergency. Uh, how how difficult is that, or is it difficult at all when it comes to, well, we're going to be doing this, and then all of a sudden you get a phone call where you've got somebody who's saying, "Oh my God, I'm underwater. I need you now." Um, you have to be with somebody who really understands and respects what you do in order to deal with that, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. So I was a one man show for the first year for the first year and a half of the business, and yeah, there was a number of times where we had stuff already planned. We had dinner plans. We were going to the movies or whatever it was, to an event, and I got that call, and we're like, hey, we have water in our basement. Like, when can you come out? And yeah, luckily for me, she was very understanding of that aspect of it because she knew. And I told her from the beginning, I'm like, hey, this is my business. This is what I have to do. But now it's a lot easier now. And the reason why I say that is because, I have a team now and we actually have an on call rotation. So we have a group of guys that everybody takes turns to being on call on that particular week. So I do get the calls, most of them I do get the calls myself, but then I see who's on call that week, and then I dispatch it to that particular technician, and they go out there and they take care of it. And the reason why I do that is because like I mentioned, I do want everybody to spend time with their loved ones. I don't want them to miss a soccer event or a family event for their kids, and that's why I have a particular week. So everybody takes on a week, and they know they're going to be on call that week.
Your story is very, very unique, that you got into this business. And usually I ask people, what got you into doing this particular thing? Yours was a mentorship. You started with someone, you got into this because someone who you truly loved and respected introduced it to you, and uh, gave you this opportunity, and you ran with it. Can you tell us a little about that? Give us that story.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually got into the business because one of my really good friends, actually, he's one of my best friends. I met him in high school. We were roommates in college for a couple of years, and he got his degree. I got my degree. I got my degree in automotive management. So I used to manage a shop before doing this. He got his degree in marketing, and he actually went to a networking event with his parents. He met this other gentleman. His name is Nick. Nick is actually the founder of Best Option Restoration. And so Kyle and Nick hit it off. Nick, he actually had another company before this. He's owned multiple companies, he's owned multiple franchises in the past. He saw what this industry can do for us, and he was like, hey, how can I make this better? And how can I expand this? So he actually, he's one of the wealthiest guys that I know personally myself. And even with that, he wanted to see exactly if his method would work. So he was out on the field doing some of the work, and he was like, okay, if this is going to work, I want to expand this. And he was talking to Kyle. Kyle got into it, and back in 2017, that's when Kyle's actually one of the first franchisees. And at the time, Kyle was like, hey, you want to join me in this journey? I'm starting this journey. I want you to, I want you to be part of it. Well, at the time, I was managing an automotive shop, and I was like, I don't know, man. I think I'm good right now. And 2019, fast forward 2019, I had my review at the shop. The shop owner told me, he's like, hey, Mike, you've done everything for us. Thank you very much for what you've done. Like, you kind of reached the top. What else do you want to do? So I shot my shot, and I told him that I wanted to buy him out. He told me that he was not ready to sell, not ready to retire, which is totally fair. That's his shop. He's been there for a long time. And during that time, I was bouncing ideas off each other with Kyle, and I would help him off here and there. And in 2019, I was like, hey, this is what happened. And then he asked me, he was like, hey, do you want to be in the automotive industry, or are you open to other revenues? And I told him at this point, I'm pretty much open to anything. So yeah, I went out to a hockey game with Kyle and Nick, and they gave me the offer then, and it was an offer that I couldn't refuse. And I was like, you know what, let's make this happen. And I started in January of 2020, and I opened up my LLC. I opened up, I got my vehicles wrapped. I did some training. I got all my equipment, and I was fully ready to go by March of 2020, which is perfect timing.
Oh, yeah, right there too. So, um, you what is one of the things that you have learned since, not through your training, but just through, in particular, going into a home? What are some of the things that you've learned just by the experiences you've been able to have?
You're talking about personal or business?
Either or is fine.
Empathy. When you walk into people's houses, they're going through a roller coaster of emotions. And when I got into the business, like, I didn't realize, well, I'll backtrack a little bit. When I got into the business, I really didn't know if I was truly going to be busy, because we don't have a lot of rain. We don't have floods. So when people say, hey, how do you get business? Well, we are not in a flooded area, but there's a lot of water damage that happens in the house. And, dishwashers are going to leak, toilets are going to overflow, water lines for a refrigerator are going to break. In a house, there is hundreds, if not thousands, of plumbing that goes into a house, and everything that's man-made, it's going to break at some point or another. I hate to say this, but it's going to happen. And I read a statistics the other day that 98% of basements are going to flood in their lifetime, and it's just something that you can't really prevent. And when that happens, the client, the homeowner, they go through a roller coaster of emotions. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to expect. And that's when we come in and we help them out and we make them feel like, hey, you know, I understand you're going through a lot right now. It's not fun because it's not fun, but we will take care of you and we will help you get through this process, whether they go through you as a homeowner or you want to file a claim with the insurance.
Mike, mold is something that's very, very serious when it comes to health. Mold can kill you. Black mold. You cannot just take and find some black mold, slap some kills on it, and say done. Right?
It's not that easy. When you're dealing with microbial growth, yes, mold is very bad. It's not good for you. It affects different people different ways. Some people are immune to it. They don't get sick. They don't even feel it. If you breathe it long enough, yes, it will harm you. There's other people that are more sensitive to it. So it does affect everybody differently, but you cannot go in there, spray bleach, wipe it down, and apply cleos. That's just not going to happen. It's one of the things that I've read and I've seen is, you can just spray bleach and you'll be good. Well, that's not the case. If you had raccoons in your attic and you fogged it, yes, you may kill the raccoons, but they're still going to be there. So you have to go out to your attic and actually clean and get rid of the raccoons once they're dead. That's the same thing that you do with mold. You go in there, you actually remove the affected area, you apply your antimicrobial, you scrub it, you clean it, and then you encapsulate it afterwards. Well, during that whole time, you want to make sure that the space that you're working on is contained. That way you don't spread it around the rest of your house.
What are some of the things, and I warned you that this question was coming, so here it is. What are some of the things that you do that is a little bit different than, we'll say, industry standard?
So one of the differences that we do in the water mitigation is that we actually add, thermal heat. So we add heat when we are in someone's property. And the reason why we add heat when there's water damage is because, heat evaporates moisture. Well, we have our dehumidifiers in there that pull the moisture out of the air. And when we add heat, it dries the structure a lot faster. So instead of having someone, like let's say a man with a fan going out to your property and they set, fans into your place, well, they can have those equipment there for about, 7 to 10 days. Well, we don't want that. When you add heat into someone's property, we can actually dry the property most of the time within 3 days.
And other places do not do this?
Not that I've seen.
Okay. So what are some of the things that you would tell people to look out for?
Which aspects of it?
As far as what are some of the telltale signs that you would tell people, hey, look, if you see this, you need to give us a call?
I mean, there's different scenarios. We do a we do a lot of things in our industry. So when you're talking about water damage, obviously, if you see water, make sure you address it sooner rather than later. If you have a slow drip, if your drains are draining slowly, contact the plumber to go out there and clean your drains up. And because if there's a slow drain, it's an indication that's going to back up soon. So get the drains cleaned out. If you see that, when you're dealing with mold, once you see mold, don't touch it because you can spread it around the rest of your house. Don't touch it. If you see it, call a professional and have them take care of it in the proper way. And when you're dealing with fire, fire can be in a kitchen area, but it can be soot around the rest of the house and in your contents. So we can go out there and make sure that there's no soot, that nothing's dirty in the rest of your house. And if there's soot, we can go out there and clean it, and we can clean your contents as well if needed.
This is something that's extremely important to anyone, but it really, really important to people with respiratory issues, is it not?
Yeah. People that are, when their immune system is not the greatest, it does affect them a little bit more. But like I said, I mean, I've seen some really healthy people get affected by it, and I've seen people that I don't think are as healthy not be bothered by it. So it affects everybody differently.
I want to point out that you can find out more information about Mike if you go to communitypayupforward.us, best option restoration of Thornton, and you will find his landing page here. Mike, you got the phone number here is 720-620-3272. Is that still the best number to contact you?
Yep, that is our office number. If you call that number, someone will answer at any given time.
You're right. And best BO restoration /Thornton.com is the website. I couldn't I wanted to say email so badly, but that's not the right thing. So, but it is Mike at BO restoration /Thornton.com.
Yep, that is my email address. If you want to reach the office, just put info in the front of it. So info@borestoration-thornton.com. And yeah, that is our website.
All right, and we ask you if you're looking to get connected to Mike and you would like an introduction. We just ask you to give us a call, 970-909-0751, 970-909-0751, or of course you can always go to communitypayupforward.us, and we will definitely help you out. Mike, it is great to get caught back up with you, my friend. It definitely has been way too long. So much of life happens. It seems like it happens in an instant. It just takes 2 or 3 years to get there. So we're looking forward to a continued relationship with you. How long does it usually take from point A to somebody getting to you when people call you with the problem? Is it pretty quickly, or are you guys backed up a little bit?
We have projects that we have scheduled right now, but we always have slots available for emergency cases. So yeah, if someone calls us, we can have someone out there. If it's an emergency, we can have someone out there the same day. Or if they don't feel like it's an emergency, we can have someone out there the following day. So, we have different crews going on now, and we have a team big enough now that we are able to get things scheduled and also have teams that are standby if something comes up.
Well, brother, man, like I said, I do apologize for kind of dropping off the face of the earth there for a little bit, but like I said, you know as well as it goes that life takes a funny turn when you're trying to build relationships and build business, and kind of fell into that a little bit. Your phone number one more time is 720-620. I'm being attacked by 2 dogs all of a sudden that just came from nowhere. Let me try this again, 720-620-3272. One more time, that's 720-620-3272. Brother man, do you have anything that you would like to finish this out with?
No, yes, thank you very much. And that phone number, you can call us or you can text that number as well. So if you don't feel comfortable giving us a call, you can shoot us a text. We can answer you through text. Zach, thank you very much for the interview. Appreciate it. And it's always great seeing you, man.
Yeah, well, let's get together as soon as possible. So once again, I've been joined by Mike Martinez of BOR Restoration, Thornton, and now Boulder. They are not afraid to come to you. So if you need help, give him a call. 720-620-3272. Thank you, Mike. We will talk to you soon.
Thanks, Zach.
Okay, so we were going to. I've either got like 400 different alerts going on, or something else, but we were going to try to work some stuff out, and we were going to try to get the information out for you for the wine event attached to this show. But we ran a little bit long with Steve, and I'm never going to apologize for that. He's, great guy. I love talking to him, and you don't need to see that information. I don't know why it thinks it had to show you that information, but you didn't need to know that. Well, here, let me share it. Whatever. This right here is telling you Healing Warriors program is going to be coming up at the top of the hour. So we have changed it. It's going to come up at the top of the hour. There's a possibility I'm going to be joined by, you just saw his commercial there. I'm hoping we're frantically trying to get Bill Walters to come and join us right now, and he can talk to you about everything that he's got going on, including some of the work that he does to try to help out people with disability that are differently abled. Excuse me, I don't like the word disabilities. Hey, you know what? This has been a really, really good show. Like I said, I love being able to take and introduce you to some of these great partners of mine that have been working a long time to hone their craft in the small to medium business world. And they're going to take this opportunity not just to be in business, which being in business for yourself is not something everybody wants to do. Okay. Some of us, it's what we've always really wanted to do. I was and I'm just going to come out and say it. At one point in time in my life I would have never, ever, ever, ever hired me back when I was younger. I was a terrible employee. When I grew up, I became an extremely hard worker and kind of a jerk about it, to be honest with you. As you heard me talking with Mike there for a couple minutes, I had to really learn scheduling. It was work and then play. Okay. And I mean, it was 70 hours worth of work, and I would try to fit in, 70 hours worth of play in a day and a half span. But and then the accident came along, and life changed. So it definitely got a little bit different. So excuse my attention deficit here. I am attempting to see if we can get a hold of Mr. Walters and see what we can do. If we can try to get him on. If not, we'll try to get him on next week. I am going to ask you to please check out the event coming up with, I've got to say it. I love saying it. You know, she's the goddess of the grape. Stephanie Simons, you can get her on her link tree. And this month, we're supporting Healing Warriors program here in Northern Colorado. Healing Warriors program, folks, is such a great organization. They take and they go to the veterans when they can, when they're not able to find ways to get healthcare in the normal ways. So Healing Warriors has pop-up pop-up areas, pop-up clinics. They also have their clinic in Fort Collins. It's a beautiful, beautiful area. And Janet, who you're going to meet at the top of the hour, is just such a wonderful person. She is so kind. She is hardworking. Everything, you know, that we love about the small nonprofit is what she is. Janet and Healing Warriors is one of the ways that is one of the organizations that you can contribute to right here. Okay, the community mission to rescue 22. Why do we still use the word 22? Why do we still use the number 22? That's quite simple. Millions, if not billions of dollars were put into Save 22. Millions, if not billions of dollars have not gone into Save 30, Save 35, Save 47. We need to use what we've got. And right now, what we've got is the number 22. I would also like to say that they don't have 47 days in a month. Thank God. But the truth is the 22, it's what we're able to utilize that some people paid a lot of money for everybody to get to know, save 22 lives a day. But the number is now actually 47. There are 47 on average, 47 losses of our veteran and current military heroes that make life-ending decisions every day. We're looking for people who want to speak, tell their story, tell what their organization does. Tell good stories, tell bad stories, tell good stories that turned out bad, tell bad stories that turned out good. Give us hope. Show us the pain that you went through. This is a no fluff show. Okay, this is not going to be this is not going to be a fluff show. My intention for this last year when I started this was to get people to sit here while we couldn't be sitting together, but it was to get us to come together and start talking about things that we can do to change. How can you and I do something to change the thought process of somebody who's having thoughts of taking their own life? What can we do to make a difference? Last week on this show, I gave some horrifying statistics that I was able to find online. 2020. In 2020, there were, and this was globally, 3.2 million people planned a suicide. 3.2 million planned. Not thought about, planned. Sat there, schemed it out, thought it out, planned it out. 1.2 million attempted, took the next step. Had intention to go through with it. 45,979 deaths was the end result of that. 45,979 deaths. Twice as many males as to females. Yay! Breaking news. House passes a bill to avert partial government shutdown. I know this is not a joke, but let's be honest here. We go through this every year. They love not doing things properly. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have gone there. This next statement is why this is so important. Because 1 year later, 2021, suicides in the U.S. increased to 47,646. That's all people, okay? That's everyone. That's not just veterans, that's everyone. But as I made mention before, earlier in this show, if we do nothing, if we don't make any changes, if the numbers stay where they are, which unfortunately is not the trend, if they stay where they are, when I'm sitting here this time next year, we will have lost 17,000 heroes to an end-of-life decision. We have to do something. Can we save 47 lives a day? Not if we don't try. The only thing that we can do that's a bigger disservice than nothing, well, there isn't anything that we can do that's a greater disservice. These individuals gave of their life. Let's spend this 22 hours together and let's come up with a way that we can talk to them in their language. We're looking for sponsorships, everything from $50 to $350. And the $350, you can join these wonderful, 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 wonderful people who are helping us spread the word and start the conversations and save lives. Do you have a podcast that you would allow us to take and utilize your airwaves? Or do you have a channel that we can use your airwaves? We would be very, very glad. We would be extremely happy if you would allow us to do that. Right now, we're set up to where we can go to 8 stream platforms. You could share our show from our channel onto yours, and that would really help us spread the word. And we would definitely give you a little bit of a, or a lot of bit of a shout out if you would allow us to do that. So I do want to bring up very beginning of the show. Once again, we premiered a new video that I just got done with, and it's with Vive, V-I-V. And now if you pay your bills through Vive, your utility bills, as I mentioned before, we have T-Mobile. So T-Mobile is one of the groups that if we pay our phone bill through T-Mobile, they can help. What they're going to do is they're going to negotiate the contract we signed. And if we're eligible for a reduced contract, the money that we save comes back to us here at Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care. I believe the video says something about, well, you know what? We'll watch the video instead of me just trying to make a fool out of myself and remembering that, remembering exactly what it says. But what it is they go in, they've got the experience, they negotiate with these individuals, these businesses that are well known throughout the United States. This isn't, you know, this is not just a little, you know, guy sitting there with a spinny cell phone type thing saying, hey, you've got cell service. These are companies like T-Mobile, Comcast, some of these other large companies across the United States. If they can negotiate a better price for you, Vive takes, and a small portion of what you save, in which you still save money. If you're eligible, you still save money, and if you're not eligible, you pay nothing. You pay nothing. You just pay your bill. You got to pay the bill. Can you help us out? Help us maintain our free outreach. Our free outreach, we've worked hard on it. It's one of the things that we've done that has been more successful than other things. Let's put it that way. So it's been a heck of a lot more successful than some other things. But this is the video that Vive gives us to help us show. I'd like to share it with you right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to disappear off for a little bit, but you can, of course, still hear me. But here we go. This is just a little video about what it does, what it is. Okay, so I'm just going to say this right now. That video always screws me up because you can see my cursor go like this. They got their cursor on there that goes walking through there, and it really kind of screws me up. I'm like going, I'm not even moving my cursor. Thanks, Vive. No, but thank you, Vive. Thank you, Al, for getting us set up. I appreciate it. You guys, we did an interview with Al just a couple weeks ago. Fantastic guy. Look, the guy called me today, and I've had to deal with a few of my head injuries due to the accident, and Al's been busting his butt trying to get us hooked up and into the program, and I cannot thank him enough. This is our new video. Please help us by paying your bill with Vive. If you have any extra questions, if you have any more questions, you can visit my For My Card. Just go to formycard.net. You can see it right there. Matter of fact, I'm going to hide it here real quick. Do this, do this, do this. Hit copy, hit save. Then it is now right here in the chat. Just hit on that link right there. That'll take you to my business card. That business card is better than any other business card in the world. Why? Because it connects to everything that is Community Pay It Forward, including more information about the community mission to save 22. To rescue 22, sorry. It does not look like we're going to be able to hook up with Bill Walters again today. And that's on my poor communications, my poor communication. I take the full and total blame for that. I do want to thank Mike Martinez of BOR Restoration from Thornton and Boulder. I also want to thank Steve Solis of Independence Roofing and Mountain Lion Entertainment. I'm just going to say it again, guys. If you're in Northern Colorado, you're looking for something that's different for your kids. If you're looking for something that's going to spruce up your restaurant a little bit, bring some kids in, keep some kids, keep them active yet occupied. Call on Steve, because the stuff that he does is amazing. He downplays what he does. Him saying that there are other people who make it, who make his balloons look like snakes. No. There's nobody who's ever accused that man of making a balloon look like a snake, unless of course he was trying to make it look like a snake. And then what he would do was give it like the hood, and probably swallowing a Volkswagen Bug, and he would do something miraculous to it and it would look great. Steve is a very, very talented individual, and both of those men that I introduced you tonight, integrity. I cannot say it enough. They both care, and they're both here for you. Not only are they here for you, but they give us a referral. And 80% of that referral goes to someone who has asked us for help. If you go to communitypayitforward.us, once again, that's communitypayitforward.us, you're going to see up on the old, God, what are they called? Up on the old bar thingy there, the information bar. Ah, well, look at there. There's my buddy Brian. Brian from Project Die Hard. Please help them. They are still looking to reach their goal of $11,000 donated, and that will be doubled by an independent individual. So, but if you look up here, you're going to find the home tab. You're going to find verified partners, where you're going to find the great partners like Steve, like Steve and Mike. And then you're going to find our mission partners right here. These are the people who have asked us for help. We've got everything from 501c3s to nonprofits, animal missions, Community Cares Cub Club. These are all of our kids who have asked us for help with school, church programs, club activities, so on and so forth. Community Dare to Care outreach and events. Community improvement missions. These are improvement missions that people are trying to do on their own. They're trying to take and they're not getting any government funding, but they can't swallow it all on their own there. Let us try to help you out. Families and neighbors who need our help. Folks, this is because of what I went through. This is because of when I was run off the road and spent 7 hours in a ditch. I woke up, I had a fractured skull, I had a fractured face, and I ended up having a broken neck. And they didn't find that broken neck for 3 years. Well, guess what? Went to the doctor, and my neck is straightened out, and there's torn muscles around it, cartilage, and bulging things that are bulging into the nerve. So there's part of my woe is me. We've also got a program. We've also got people who are trying to help healthy mind, body, and soul. This is to try to defeat the opioid epidemic in America. Of course, we've got our honoring our heroes, both country and community. Inclusion is for everyone because inclusion is so damn important. And supporting smart. Let me try this again in English. It's the only language I butcher because it's the only language I know. Well, I know biker too, but I don't want to talk like that on the computer. Supporting startup businesses and organizations, and we are adding, we're still working on how to do it, but we are also adding telling our histories, saving our history, saving history. You can't change history. You don't have to like it. You can't change it. It happened. Okay. There's a lot of history in there that, you know what, every single one of us wish we could have done something different. The only crime that we can do to history is not learn it. Because if we learn it, we don't learn from it. Once again, I do want to mention that these thoughts are all my own. I'll just say it right now. These thoughts are all my own. It doesn't reflect anybody else's thoughts. These are just who I am. It's what I am. So if you would like to discuss anything with me, please feel free to go to my card and we can talk. But why don't we do this? Why don't we get together and let's talk about helping other people? So reach out for my card and let's talk about what we can do to help other people. That's it for me tonight. Hopefully I will get in connection with Mr. Walters and we'll have him on for Friday. But I'm done for tonight. Please make sure you stick around because starting here in about 4 minutes or 3.5 minutes, we've got the event for, we've got the great event with the Goddess of the Grape, Stephanie Samos, for Healing Warriors. Okay. It's well worth an hour of your time, and getting some of this wonderful wine will help a wonderful organization continue to do the great things they do. Everybody loves somebody out there because somebody out here loves you. Please, please remember that if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. No one needs to go it alone when we all come together. If you've got that extra hoodie, throw it in your car. It is cold right now. Cold kills. Hunger kills. If you have extra food, throw it in the old butter bowl. Let's get it into the hands of somebody who's hungry. We can do this if we come together. I beg you to join me again next week at 5 o'clock. Don't know who my guests are going to be yet, but hopefully it's going to be someone. My name is Zach. I am the president and founder of Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the pACT channel. You can always get a hold of me for my card. Once again, it's right there. It's also in the chat. You have a great day. Have a great week. We will see you at Friday at 3 Eastern, 1 Mountain. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening. And please take care of each other. We're all we got.
Bring me home out alone and show me the way. sunset full of art.